welcome to the Tom Baker Show. It is great to be back with you. Wherever you are tuning us in from, we are grateful that you're here, and we hope that you enjoy the next 45 minutes or so. We have got a fun show lined up. My co-host Jacob Seelman will be joining us shortly. We start this show with a preview of a major event that's coming up in motorsports here that actually is starting this week at the Tulsa Shootout, or in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Tulsa Civic Center. The Tulsa Shootout, for those of you who don't know, is the first of two big events that happen in Tulsa in a 3-week span in January to start the year. Collectively, these two events bring $50 million into the Tulsa economy. The Tulsa Shootout starts at all. It is the Super Bowl for microsprints, if you will. And this year, the Shootout has set a pre-entry record with 1,939 pre-entries as of the time we're taping this, all across the USA and beyond. This is an incredible event. It takes place officially from December 30th to January 3rd. Legends like Chris Bell and Kyle Larson will be there mixing it up with a whole bunch of future Larsons and Bells. And to start the show off, we have a young man named Levi Ballard, who's one of our drivers that we believe in, who is on the rise here. He is 11 years old, and he is from the Midwest. They call him Beef Stick. We're going to ask him why later. His father, Corey, has joined us as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the shootout and a little bit about sort of the dual roles that each play and just the motorsports business in general here to start the show. First of all, great to have both of you with us. Corey, I'm going to start with you. This is a major event. Obviously, it's the biggest one you guys are going to run all year, and you run a lot of big events. What's different as a dad about the Tulsa Shootout?
Right. I mean, probably when we race, there'll be 2,000 entries. And so Levi's in two classes, the junior sprint and the restricted micro. And so those actually have a little bit less, but even restricted micro will probably be 230, 240 entries. And so the energy in the building is amazing. And it's tough, right? It's kind of the Super Bowl of our industry, as you said. And Levi's raced 117 events this year. So we've raced a lot, all leading up to this big race. And so we're excited. And I'm already losing some sleep over it just because every scenario in my head is I've went through. And we've raced it 2 years in a row. He's finished in the top 10 twice. And we've just had a few circumstances that have kept us out of, maybe the winner's circle. And so we're really excited. And I'm losing sleep. He's probably not.
Well, he's probably losing more sleep over Christmas upcoming as we tape this than he is about the shootout right yet. But so Levi, for you, what is the biggest difference about running the Tulsa Shootout versus running the typical event that you would run during the season? What's different for you?
It's just the competition in the building and just the excitement inside of the center and just watching all the big racers compete to win a Golden Driller.
So last year, was that your first year running at Tulsa, Levi?
No, I ran it. This would be my third year that I've run it.
So when you first walked into the building for the first time a couple of years ago, what did you think about after you kind of walked in and started looking around?
I was very surprised about how many cars were there.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, Corey, this is the format of this event, the way that you start with a pill draw and then there's passing points. And then of course you're only taking so many later on into, from one main to the next. It's just such a mix of different kind of circumstances. As a dad, what do you go through at an event like this? It's got to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, until we draw and get our pill, there's not much strategy we can talk about. And at the end of the day, we'll build a strategy, and we'll have a strategy depending on where he starts in each class. But when you hit the dirt, you got to make it happen, and you need a little bit of luck, of course, maybe a lot of luck when you have that many cars, and you hope to avoid any mishaps that maybe aren't your fault. But you also got to drive kind of aggressive, right?
Yep.
And you got one chance. And so with your, as you mentioned, passing points are crucial. And so if you draw a high pill and you start in the 7 or 8 spot, you got to get to second or third if you really want a chance to make the qualifier and not have to fight through the C and B mains. And just making the A main is a tough challenge. And I can tell you that's not really our goal. We set our goals higher than that,
Sure.
but you got to make the A main to give yourself a shot, and really, if you think about 20 junior sprints and 24 in the restricted, I mean, so there's 200 kids that aren't going to make the A main. And so racing is tough in that situation. Only 20 kids, everybody else goes home disappointed. And at the end of the day, only one winner. And so everybody else is, it's not a team sport, unfortunately.
Well, it isn't a team sport, but it takes a great team to compete in the sport.
Right.
And of course, you've got Factory 14 and Chad Boat and that team. I mean, that's as good as it gets right there. You're a dad who's very involved, but you're also not very involved in certain other aspects. Talk a little bit about kind of your focus and how you've developed Levi and kind of worked with other teams and what role you're playing in this, because I think it's different than the role a lot of dads either have to play or just choose to play.
Right. Well, in the beginning, you're a cheerleader, right? And he said, I wanted to race, Dad. And so the first year it was rough. And then as he started winning, he was absolutely dedicated to racing. He said, Dad, I want to be a race car driver. So we started to shift our focus and say, how can we give Levi the best opportunity in the best cars, at the best tracks, against the best competition? And a lot of people know I've probably treated this like I treat my businesses, which is there's more to, you've got to have the marketing and you've got to have a good team, and then you've got to show up and you got to perform right at the end of the day. And you've got to be able to win races at some point. And Levi's done that. He's actually won 87 times, which is crazy because that's also his number. So we're stuck on 87. We hope to change that soon. But and so we've just really worked on surrounding ourselves with the best people. You mentioned Chad Boat. We've the Holland family with Factory 14 and Billy over there and their entire crew. We really wanted to give Levi the best opportunity because I'm not a mechanic. We certainly worked on his go-karts, and he had a lot of success early in the go-karting. But when you get to the junior sprint and really the micro, I didn't want to wonder every time we showed up that, is he not driving the car right, or is the car not good? I kind of wanted to take the car out of the element, and so we could focus on Levi's racecraft and really give him a car that we knew had a chance of winning, at least a top 5 car. We unload a good car when you race for a good team. And then we can work on his racecraft and not leave the track every week wondering, do I not know what I'm doing? Does he not know what he's doing? And I hear a lot of dads say, like, I got to get better, he's got to get better. And I wanted to take the I got to get better part out of it and just say, let's work on Levi as a driver. And it doesn't mean that, the teams that we race for don't miss the setup occasionally. They certainly do. And at this level, everybody's got good equipment. So it's not a huge variable, but it is nice to let the professionals work on the cars, and then we can focus on Levi's racecraft, and they can really dial in, teaching them how to do all the fundamentals that hopefully continue to develop him as a driver.
Yeah, it's hard because I see a lot of parents, even ones that may have some mechanical experience or knowledge or whatever, they try and wrench the car themselves, and then they have the same learning curve the driver does, just in a different aspect. And so if the driver becomes ready to wheel a winning car, but the parent as a crew chief is not ready to crew chief that car to be fast, then it slows the driver's learning curve down. And I think the way you're doing it, if you can do it that way, feels like the fastest way to sort of elevate the driver's arc a little bit. And thinking about how you're stuck on 87, maybe going into Tulsa, Levi, should we change your number to like 89 or 90? Because you're 87, you got 87 wins. If we change it to 89 or 90, maybe you'll get 2 or 3 wins there.
For sure. For sure, yeah, he's counting on that one.
Yeah,
And and Tom, I'll just throw this in there too. There is a cost to race for good teams, um, and I don't know what we could certainly buy a toter and a big trailer, and I could
yeah.
hire a mechanic, and we could buy the cars, and we could do all that. But you and I have talked, off record here, and I've talked to a lot of other dads and other teams, and I just felt like for us, I'm good at running my business, and I'm going to let people that are good at working on race cars work on race cars, and so I try to really. It's a big commitment. We're gone every weekend. We were gone 40 weekends this year, and so we're on the road
Wow.
40 at 52 weeks. And I don't want to run a race team. I don't want to work on cars. I'm not that good at it. Even if I hire a mechanic, I still got to make daily race decisions on what are we getting and setups and tires and wraps and motors and all the packages and all those things. And so for us, I've heard people say, you're just buying wins or you're spending a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, but you're spending a lot of money and you don't know that, you're not giving your kid the best opportunity. And so I just didn't want to be the bottleneck in his racing development. And so
Yeah.
we've focused on trying to surround him with the best people and give him the best opportunities. And that's why we've, teamed up with Factory 14 where we are now, and Chad Bode is a part of that development as well, a big part of it.
For sure. And so, Levi, what would winning a Golden Driller mean to you? What would that mean to you to win a Golden Driller award?
A lot, because I would be in the history books with all the big drivers.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Corey, that's another thing is I think we overlook the fact that, when somebody wins a big race like this, it really is forever, right? Like it's not something you do once and then you go to the next step and forget about it. But in order to get to the level to be able to compete for a win, you said you were gone 40 weeks out of the year. That's a lot of weekend time to be, away from home. How do you deal with that with him as far as school, and then also, talk a little bit about that in relation to his kind of. It's hard when you're racing because you don't get to maybe have the relationships at home with the kids or whatever that others do, but it's just that kind of a sport.
Yeah, we're probably over the top. Well, we are over the top. And I think, some people do this to spend more time with their boy or girl. And I totally appreciate that and understand that. A lot of people think I'm really intense because I am. We're out there to win.
You are.
We're out there to win.
Sure.
And it's tough. This isn't a team sport. Football's going on right now, and when the team wins, everybody on the roster wins. Racing, only one guy wins, and so one guy or boy or girl wins, and so for us, it is a family deal. Though his mom Lindsay's on board. Our daughter's not as excited about it, but it is a big commitment, and it's hard, and it's hard on our business. It's hard being away from our oldest daughter's 22. It is a tough deal. We were just out this morning getting the coach ready to head to Tulsa next week and stock it full of groceries. And it's a tough deal to be on the road every single weekend. And Tom, there's Sundays that I'm coming home that, man, I'm tired, I'm beat up, I'm hungry, I'm angry. Racing's it's an emotional roller coaster, and the highs are the highs and the lows. And when I get to him in victory lane, I absolutely love it. And him and I have a connection there that's amazing. And so I'm always looking for that next victory lane. But there's weeks where we've just really struggled. And it's, pretty emotional when you have those tough weeks. And my job is to continue to support him. And I have to be a little less intense and more motivating and say, hey, look at different things. Like, we're not going to win every race. There's great kids racing against him. And at 11, he's racing some 15 and 16-year-olds. And those kids, I don't think they're better. They just have 3 to 4 years more experience in their car. And so it's challenging. But we're in this as a family. We've committed to it. Levi, his dream is to race for a living, whatever that looks like, whether it's on dirt or pavement. And we're going to give him every opportunity that we can to let him excel as long as he continues to develop and surround him with the best people.
Who's your favorite driver, Levi?
Kyle Larson and Tanner Holmes.
Oh, interesting. I'm not surprised you picked Larson, but why Tanner Holmes? What is it about Tanner that kind of endears you to him?
I don't know. I just like watching his videos, and he's just fun to watch.
He does a great job, and he does a great job with the off-track stuff too. And you know, I know that's something you're trying to do with Levi as well. Okay, Levi, where'd you get the name Beef Stick from?
Well, it's just really one of my favorite snacks, so my parents started calling me Beef Stick.
Are you still?
He doesn't know that he loves it, Tom, and it's on his suits. And we're just so sometimes he's like, I like it, and then sometimes he's like, I wish I could have a different nickname. So we might go with. We can't really go like Lightning Levi, so it's Beef Stick for now.
Oh, Beef Stick's unique. There aren't too many beef sticks out there. I think it's unique. Yeah. It works. It's something that people can remember him for. Okay, so Levi, who do you want to thank for making all of your racing stuff happen?
My mom, my dad, Chad Boat, the CB team, Harley and Holly, and Billy, and Kaiser Racing Wheels, and everyone that's supporting me through my racing journey.
Well, that's a big list, and you got some heavy hitters there that are helping you out, and I know that you realize and understand that. Corey, talk about the season this year a little bit. On a lot of races, he's done really well also.
Yeah, we've had some big wins and some fun wins. You know, we picked up 3 or 4 micro wins at some big tracks, Millbridge, Port City, Sweet Springs, and in the junior sprint we had some, you know, great success until the very last race of the year. But he won the BC 39 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, huge. Where he started 14th and went 14-1. So that was a really emotional win, and he was the youngest to win it there. And picked up 3 of the KKM championships. Picked up a win out at the Hagopian Memorial out in California. So we had a lot of success, but those wins are getting harder and harder and harder. We had some karting wins too, and not to downplay the karting wins because Levi would, he still likes racing anything he can. Sure. But, the wins are getting harder and harder. And, he won 51 times in 2024, right? 2023, he won 51 times. And so those wins are getting harder and harder and harder in the competition, and we chase hard tracks. We were down at Port City in Oklahoma most of the season this year, and we went there for one reason, Tom. It's where the best kids are racing. And we could go to some local tracks and probably have quite a bit more success short term, but we wanted to be racing at the best track against the best kids. A lot of great kids come out of that area, and that's where we felt like, we knew it'd be a tough year. We only got 1 win there. We had a lot of close ones, but we're trying to build a great race car driver. And so we're not as much focused on the results every single night as just really improving and trying to look at different metrics. How are we on restarts? How are we against kids our age? How are we, how are we at passing and moving forward and understanding the track and the situational racing, and Levi's done a really good job of that. At times I wanted to be a little more aggressive, and at times maybe it's tough because we don't race dirty, but we got to race hard to get to the front.
Yeah, even in the open wheel style car, it's still pretty aggressive racing for sure. Levi, what do you like most about racing?
It's just really fun. And I just like going in circles.
Okay. No road course racing for him. He's all about circles.
He likes winning.
Well, everybody likes winning. It's a lot easier to win well than to lose well sometimes. That's for sure.
And that's a challenge too. We're trying to learn to lose with humility and be tough, and that's something as a parent we have to continue to teach him, because it's and I have to teach myself, right? I've had a lot of success at mostly everything I've done, and this is when he hits the track, it's out of my control.
If you're going to, I got 2 more questions. First one is, if you were advising parents on how to do a big event like Tulsa, mentally, all of that, what would you tell them?
Boy, Tulsa's in a league of its own. And I think first, if you really want to get your child into racing, spend some time at some local tracks and talk to some great people. I think you'll find the race community very open. There's a lot of great people, and we have met some lifelong friends in racing. But, if you're going to Tulsa for the first time, just take it all in and keep your expectations in check. I'm working on that for myself. I say that out loud every day. Because we have high expectations, certainly in the junior sprint, and I think he's got a legit shot in the restricted if some things play in our favor. And but yeah, take it all in. And really, when you go there, you really see the scope of 2,000 cars or 1,800 cars, and you realize how big this
Yeah.
just one event is. And it kind of, and again, not to make anything less valuable, but it puts things into perspective. The first time we showed up there, we were still racing a lot of go-karts.
Yep.
And at that point we looked around and thought, boy, this is different.
It is.
It's such a unique feeling. And to Levi's point, you're racing on the same track as Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch and Christopher
Crazy.
Bell and Frank Flood. And sometimes you might be racing against them as you move up into A class
Yeah.
at 11, 12 years old. You might line up next to Kyle Larson, and that's pretty unique. No other motorsport do you get the opportunity to line up next to a NASCAR star in the same car in the same track.
Well, and what's crazier is that it's getting quickly to the point where Kyle Busch is racing against Braxton Busch. So you're
Yeah, they were
racing
racing
against
last
two
night.
generations of
Yeah.
So
Last night they were racing each other really hard at the coin.
Crazy.
And it was pretty crazy. Kyle ended up going into the middle, but they were running 5th and 6th, and they were battling each other hard. And it was interesting. I said to Levi, I said I could beat him. I don't know that I can. That's the problem.
it's really unbelievable. But it's a huge race. Final question. You got a couple of new cars that you're bringing there from Factory 14. Corey, tell us about what you got going there.
Yeah, kind of unique in the junior sprint because we've had a ton of success with Chad Boat in the CB87 car, and Link Chassis has really came on the scene this year strong, and we really felt like, or Chad and Holly, Chad was talking to Holly Holland, and they felt like Levi, it's his last junior sprint race ever, and we felt like they felt like his best opportunity was to jump into the new Link chassis. It's just got a little bit new technology from what was out there, and we felt like that, or they felt like that was the best chance for him to maybe win a driller. And then he'll also be in a new Link restricted micro for Factory 14 as well. I think he's in the only Link restricted micro in the field of 200 and some cars. So they're at least that they know of. And so we're excited about that. Brand new cars, a little bit of a fresh look. Always we try to bring a fresh look to the Tulsa Shootout. And so, yeah, we're really excited to represent them well and go out there and, see what we can do and chase that driller.
Well, we appreciate you guys being on with us and talking a little bit about the Tulsa Shootout. And we're going to be featuring Levi more as 2026 goes on. And so, Levi, congratulations on all the success this year. And we wish you all the best at the Tulsa Shootout. And Corey, thanks for bringing them on, and good luck to you guys in Tulsa.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're going to step aside. We'll be back with more of the Tom Baker Show and more about the Tulsa Shootout and a tribute to a fallen driver that we are all going to really, really miss. More after this. For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
Welcome back to the show, and it is time to bring in our co-host, Jacob Seelman, the news editor of Steering Wheel Nation. Jacob, it's good to have you back, and gosh, the Tulsa Shootout is just, it's a slugfest, man. I can't even explain it. You know it well. You've watched it. I went last year. It is just a slugfest.
That's putting it mildly, I would say. And first off, great to be back as always. Second off, just to give you, you talk about a slugfest, just from the people alone makes it that way. I'm just going to give a rundown of the big names real fast in what they consider the premier class at the Tulsa Shootout, which is Winged Outlaw, the winged top class of micro sprints. Here, some names to keep an eye on over the course of the week. Emerson Axum from World of Outlaws and USAC fame. Jonathan Beeson, Chili Bowl mainstay. Clinton Boyles, Chili Bowl mainstay, sprint car crew chief. Kaylee Bryson, USAC Silver Crown. Kyle Busch needs no introduction. Let's see. Keep going down the list a little further. Trevor Klein, longtime microsprint regular. Briggs Danner, USAC regular. Frank Flood needs no introduction because it feels like he's won every driller in existence over the course of the time of Planet Earth and the Tulsa Shootout. Ty Gibbs needs no introduction. Derek Hagar, longtime Mid-South sprint car regular in USCS and ASCS ranks. Emilio Hoover, USAC regular. Logan Seavey, USAC regular. Some Kyle Larson guy. Don't know what in the world he's ever done in a race car. Jason McDougall, USAC regular. Gavin Miller, USAC champion. Extreme Midget champion. Jason Persley going to be driving for Keith Coons. Used to drive for Keith Coons. Going to be driving for Casey Kane Racing next year on the High Limit Tour, taking over for Brad Sweet. Ryan Timms, defending Knoxville Nationals champion. Ashton Ferguson going tour racing in the Shark Racing car this year. Hayden Wise, that last name should be very familiar if those know Josh Wise. Hayden, yes, very much related to Josh. I mean, and that's just the Winged Outlaw class. As you mentioned, by the time we get going in Tulsa, there are going to be probably more than 2,000 entries when you factor in the day of entries. And I just gave you a handful of names. I mean, this is bonkers at the level of competition. And just in the top class, 270 entries, only 24 make the big dance on Sunday afternoon. That's 246 drivers that are not going to start the big show for a Golden Driller. I mean,
you know what?
To make the Tulsa I don't know. Tell me what.
Well, you were giving me all these names, and you got most. You got a great bunch of the big stars. You missed one.
Who did I miss?
You missed Catfish, Carter Beatty from Concord, North Carolina, who's also going to be in competition. I can't give
everything away.
Well, we have a face to go with the names, so let's check out Carter Beatty's interview. Carter Beatty at Millbridge Speedway just finished in the top 5 in his class here today, but looking forward to Tulsa, Oklahoma and the Tulsa Shootout. Record number of entries for this year's shootout. Carter, I'm curious. I mean, you run here at Millbridge every week. You run a lot of other tracks around the country during the year. But what is it about Tulsa that makes it so different, so big, and so doggone hard to make the A-main?
There's just so many good guys there. I mean, I can name off many guys that are, I mean, high-level guys. I mean, these guys could probably get in the World of Outlaws and do just fine. There's just a lot of competition there. You know, you get down at the end of the staging ramp and your heart's racing. You're like, I don't know what to do, right? You're sitting there thinking about what you can do to go up front, and you know, it's really hard to make it to the main, I think, because, you know, of course, there's a lot of competition, and at the same time, the track changes fast, you know, and they do a really good job with track prep there. I really just can't believe how good and, I mean, perfect their berm is. I mean, I love putting the left front on the berm. You know, it's where the nickname comes from, Catfish. So I think it's cool that we can go somewhere and really put the left front on the berm. And it's the same here. I think that's why most of the Millbridge guys can put it up on the berm and up to the wall pretty good, because that's what we have to do here. Yeah, just excited for 2026, and hopefully we can get a couple drillers in for the shootout. I got to thank all my sponsors: SKE, KBR, Simpson Race Products, you know, LaJoy Seating, MPI Innovations, BCSI, Hoosier Race Tire, 10J Chassis, Bundy Bill, just anybody and everybody that's laid their hands on the car or helped out in any way that they can. Two Speed Motorsports, just everybody that helps, I got to thank them.
So let's talk about the format at Tulsa, because I mean, you build draw to begin with, and then it becomes kind of a passing point steal for a while, and then obviously toward the end it's top X number transfer to the A main. It's such a mixed bag. How do you ever prepare or keep up? I mean, what's better, drawing up front or drawing in the back? Last year it seemed like you had a little of both.
I think it's better to draw just in the middle of the pack, so you can get passing points, and you know, you can figure out the car while you're passing. But also, you know, you don't want to start in front because you're going to get no passing points. You start in the back, and you know, you got a high chance of wrecking. So yeah, I like the format. I think it's cool. It makes it up, and you know, drivers really gotta think with their heads. Like, I mean, I like also, you can't shift on the restart, so that changes a lot of the mix-ups in turn 1 and 2, and I like how they run their whole show.
You came close last year in what I think restricted was the class you were close, and ended up a motor let go on you, but you were running good until then. What are you anticipating this year? How do you even begin to go in with a game plan with almost 2,000 entries?
You just got to think that there's only 15 cars, right? Because not all of them are going to make it to the main, so you just got to think of top 25 makes it. So I mean, it's just a lot to think about going into the shootout. Just really thankful for what we can do this year. Just prepared for everything that comes along.
Well, Carter, good luck in the shootout, and look forward to seeing you back here at Millbridge in 2026. Carter's fun to work with, and he's got a shot at it. He's been very fast this year, so they're looking forward to heading to Tulsa and seeing what they can do against the best of the best. And with that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to pay tribute to Greg Biffle. It's never fun to do this, but we're going to do our best right after these words.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
Welcome back to the show, and as we get into our final last lap segment here, this past week in the NASCAR world was about as rough and sad as it gets, Jacob. one of our favored sons, former NASCAR legend and a great humanitarian, Greg Biffle, and his family lost their lives in a tragic plane crash at the airport in Statesville, North Carolina. And I got to be honest, man, it still hurts to think about.
It does. I'm gonna have a tribute as we tape this show coming to Steering Wheel Nation on the Biff, and I've struggled to find all the right words for this, because when you talk about Greg Biffle, you're talking about a great driver, a future Hall of Fame driver, but you're talking about an even better human being, not for what he did on the track, but everything that he did and everything that he and his family were off the racetrack. Just when you think about the depth of what he did in 2024 in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, for those who were affected by the devastation from Hurricane Helene. I mean, you don't just take your personal helicopter out to run rescue missions and run supply missions to those who are just stranded in rural, devastated areas unless you genuinely care about the rest of the world as a human being. I mean, Greg didn't know any of these people. He didn't have to do everything that he did, but he was led to do everything that he did. And, you know, to me, more than anything that he ever did on the racetrack, to me, the legend of Greg Biffle became what it was because of everything he did for the rest of the world over the course of the past 14 to 16 months. You know, he won 2 Southern 500s. He was a Truck Series champion. He was, you know, what will be the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year. Back when he did it, it was the Busch Series champion. He's been a nominee for the NASCAR Hall of Fame twice. Like I said a minute ago, I think he absolutely will be in at some point. But again, all of that pales in comparison to who Greg was as a person and everything. You know, he gave so much of himself. He was so selfless for everyone else around him. And when I think about everything that's happened and just have been reflecting over the past week or so, that first is what I remember about Greg Biffle, is just his selflessness and his care for his fellow man. The racer in Greg was great, but to me, that's secondary to everything else that he did.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that sentiment. He was just a special guy. He was first of all, he was a true gentleman. I mean, there isn't a nicer guy that you could meet than Greg, and his desire just to constantly serve others. I mean, that's what we're all put here to do. And he never hesitated for a moment. And even in the worst of situations, the worst of conditions, I mean, I think he and his buddy Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell, I think the two of them did more for Western North Carolina than our government did, at least for a good bit of the beginnings of the aftermath of the hurricane. And again, they just didn't think twice about their own safety or anything. It was just, no, we got to do this. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, no, it really is incredible. Just thinking the whole thing through, and just, you know, my heart is broken over the circumstances. I mean, not just Greg, but you think about the entire racing industry, and this sport has been hit so just terribly hard by aviation accidents through the course of its history. I mean, you think about the Allisons, Davey and Clifford. You think about Alan Kulwicki, you think about the Hendrick Motorsports plane tragedy. Now you think about Greg and his family. It just, as simple as air travel seems sometimes, and just everything is in its time and it's beyond any of our comprehensions. Just, it's still tough to think about, Tom, that this one bubble has been hit so hard by so many tragedies like this over the past 30, 40, 50 years. And it's not like it's small name people. I mean, these are legends of our sport, legends of our industry that we've lost in these times. It just, to me, as I reflected on all that, I'm just, it's hard to think of. It really is.
Well, it is. And then you add to that, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had the plane crash that, obviously everyone walked out of somehow, grace of God. But yeah, you're right. It's been just this series of, and who knows why. And it's something that I don't think we'll ever understand. And I'm certainly not going to be the guy that suggests that people should stop flying private aircraft or any of that sort of thing. But boy, it certainly does get your attention in the circumstances and the way that all took place.
Yeah.
It was just a very, it was a shocking thing. And we'll never forget Greg. We'll never forget, obviously, his family and the pilot and his son. All of those lives who were lost will be forever remembered. And the things that Greg did for humanity, for the people, that's going to live on. I mean, and I don't know how, I don't know how else to sum it up.
Yeah. And real quick, I want to touch on this. Of course, Greg, his wife, Christina, Greg's daughter, Emma, from his first marriage, Greg and Christina's son, Ryder. But I don't want to minimize the fact Dennis Dutton and his son, Jack, as well as former NASCAR hauler driver Craig Wadsworth, were also killed as well. Just because Greg's the one we talk about, I don't want to minimize that there were 7 people on that plane, and we're going to miss and we're going to remember every single one of them.
And that's the way we'll end it for this episode. We hope that everybody has a happy 2026, and we look forward to being back next week here on the Tom Baker Show. For more great content, steeringwheelnation.com, at the Wheel Nation on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And of course, if you want to check us out, Tom Baker TV is my handle on Instagram and LinkedIn, and at Jacob Seelman 77 on Twitter for Jacob. And so that will wrap things up. Again, we hope that all of you are having a joyous holiday season, and wish you all a happy new year. We'll see you in 2026.